Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Russell Wilson is heading to the Steelers. Here are the details. It's happening. Former Seahawks great and Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson will be playing for the Steelers next season. The 9-time Pro Bowler and former Super Bowl champion will sign a one-year deal with Pittsburgh while Denver pays $38 million of his salary. As the reports came out on Sunday night, Wilson released a video on social media, thanking the Steelers himself by saying, "Year 13. Grateful," while tagging them on X, formerly known as Twitter. Having visited Pittsburgh last week, Wilson and the Steelers have now worked out a deal to be signed and processed when the league year begins on Wednesday. Wilson's release from the Broncos. At $1.21 million per the league minimum, Wilson is a monumental bargain for the Steelers. Wilson now heads to Pittsburgh with 2022 first-round pick and Pitt grad Kenny Pickett being the only other quarterback under contract. Mike Tomlin and Art Rooney too have both discussed intentions of bringing back Mason Rudolph prior to landing Wilson, Rudolph entering free agency after starting 3 games for the Steelers last season. ESPN's Adam Schefter first reported the news on X. 9-time Pro Bowl QB and former Super Bowl champ Russell Wilson plans to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers, per league sources, Schefter wrote. Wilson will sign a team-friendly, one-year deal in which the Broncos will wind up paying $38 million of his salary while Wilson wears the black and yellow. Russell Wilson's hurried deal with Steelers may say a lot about his intentions, and Pittsburgh's. When the Denver Broncos and Russell Wilson publicized their divorce last week, speculation ran wild on where the aging 9-time Pro Bowl quarterback would land. The Las Vegas Raiders headlined a Yahoo Sports poll of quarterback agents and league executives' predictions. But the one quarterback agent, who overachieved and ranked 3 top guesses, waited to mention the Raiders until third. The agent slotted the Atlanta Falcons second. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, in what now seems prescient, ranked first. Obvious need and a playoff team, the agent texted 6 days before Wilson and the NFL tweeted apparent confirmations. This is his best shot to start and have a competitive team. Wilson seems to agree. Because by Sunday night, roughly 16 hours before the Steelers could legally submit a deal to the league, Wilson tweeted a video. The marriage is intriguing, with Wilson poised to compete with 2022 first-round draft pick Kenny Pickett and a likely third quarterback in the building. Veteran journeyman Mason Rudolph ended the 2023 season starting for Pittsburgh, but is scheduled to hit free agency. As interesting is the haste with which the Steelers moved to lock up Wilson. Sure, his $1.2 million veteran minimum salary is an attractive price tag. But Wilson has also found mixed reception in locker rooms and team offices, and his play declined enough to convince the Broncos, and mostly head coach Sean Payton, that $85 million in dead salary cap space is more palatable than calling upon the services the Broncos will be paying for. So why agree to a deal so quickly? It makes sense the Steelers would want to lock up a player they want, especially at Wilson's bargain bin price point, in order to plan the rest of their personnel moves and free agency strategy accordingly. Wilson, though, had more reason to wait. With money as no object, why not guarantee his greatest chance to start? Some executives and agents believed Wilson would wait until after the NFL draft to locate a team that needed him, especially in 2024. Find a team that didn't get the quarterback it sought or a team who did but knows the kid needs time, league voices reasoned. Look for a team with a young and suspect QB, an agent said. Wait for injury? Like all dust has to settle, an executive added. Then came another executive who set up a paradigm. In almost all cases, the sooner the better so he can get the system, reps, etc., the executive said. I'd feel decent that it's done quickly, if starting. If he's a backup, then all bets are off because there's not the same amount of urgency. Which brings us to what the Steelers may have revealed Sunday night. We should expect Wilson to be in legitimate contention to start for Pittsburgh in 2024. Expect him to start working with receivers Deontay Johnson and George Pickens, and to start learning first-year coordinator and former Falcons head coach Arthur Smith's scheme. Expect Wilson to have a meaningful chance to supplant Pickett, who completed 62% of pass attempts for 2,070 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions in 12 games last season. And expect Wilson to get real snaps in off-season activities and training camp, whether or not Rudolph returns to the building. The Steelers seem to have better leverage to bring Rudolph back at a cheaper price now, if Rudolph wants to stay. Forget the criticism of Wilson, who by the way ranked 8th in passer rating and 9th in touchdowns, despite Peyton benching him in December. Forget Steelers general manager Omar Khan's assertions at the NFL Scouting Combine last month that he has full faith in Kenny amid issues in the offense last year, an on-camera quote that seemed to levy blame at coach and playbook and assuage it from player. Only afterward did Khan offer up what might be the truest part of his statement. "We'll have some strong competition there at quarterback," he said, "and we'll see where it goes." It's not hard to envision one road the Steelers' quarterback competition could very likely travel. Waiting at the end, before long, is the coronation of Wilson. Russell Wilson explores free agency options with high-profile visits to New York Giants and Pittsburgh Steelers. Wednesday might officially herald the start of the new league year, but for Russell Wilson, the work has already begun. The celebrated quarterback, granted permission by the Denver Broncos, is getting an early start on his free agency journey. Visitors so far? The New York Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Reports from Josina Anderson indicate Wilson has already visited New York Giants and Pittsburgh Steelers. The latter visit in Pittsburgh last Friday reportedly went great, with extensive discussions with OC Arthur Smith. On Sunday morning, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler gave further confirmation of the Steelers' burgeoning interest in Wilson, describing the initial meeting as very positive. "Pittsburgh's interest in Wilson is indeed real, as was assured to me by a team source," Fowler put on record. Wilson arrived at the Steelers' facility on Friday afternoon and had what a source described as a very positive meeting with the club. The Steelers were always bringing in competition. This would be that and then some, as it's hard to imagine Wilson as anything other than a starter. Living up to his reputation as a trusted insider, particularly with Pittsburgh, Fowler provides fresh insights into the situation. Wilson arrived at the Steelers' facility on Friday afternoon and had what a source described as a very progressive meeting. This is the first hash of data from national media insiders since Anderson's late Friday report, reaffirming that the interest in Wilson is legit and that the meeting went well overall. News from Wilson's camp indicates his meeting with the Giants also went on a high note. The information parallels Anderson's report that the interest was real. "I'm told Wilson is eager to help his new team on the contract front and enters the free agency process looking not only for the chance to win but also a team with an infrastructure for winning and has done it consistently," Fowler wrote. Pittsburgh fits that mold. Let's see how this shakes out, but the Steelers appear well positioned. Amid these developments, Fowler also addressed Wilson's motivation to negotiate a contract that benefits his team, which could facilitate a deal with his new team. With the Broncos slated to pick up the tab for the 2024 season, speculation is rife about whether Wilson will agree to the veteran minimum or push for additional commitment from his new team. If Wilson agrees to a minimum deal, the Steelers, with limited money tied to the QB position, could reinvest savings into other positions. This financial flexibility could be a unique edge for the Steelers and offer Wilson a greater opportunity to win. With the confirmation of interest and positive meetings, the next stage undoubtedly is the wait. Schefter reports suggest Wilson will also be meeting with the Las Vegas Raiders, adding another spice to the unfolding drama of free agency. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation Russell Wilson? Leave your opinion in the comments.